Andy Buchanan, Olympian and Australian men's marathon record holder, says that the Run Port Douglas half marathon course is the best in the world. Run Port Douglas is the perfect excuse to escape the cold and head to paradise for a run you'll never forget, and it's on Saturday the 5th of September. Then stay and experience the very best of tropical North Queensland, the Great Barrier Reef, Daintree Rainforest, 4 Mile Beach, world-class resorts, and Hartley's Crocodile Adventures, plus so much more. Enter now at runportdouglas.com.au.
Child, that your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place?
All right, welcome Jess Stenson to the weekend interview on the Inside Running podcast. Great to have you back.
Yeah, looking forward to this chat.
Now, it's been a while since you've been on.
I think it was, a week or two before Valencia. So, yeah, it must have been late November last year.
Yeah. Weird that we didn't get you on after you broke the record, and I have a suspicion why. But why do you think you haven't been on since then?
I don't know. I think Valencia is always a bit of a funny one. It falls in December before the Christmas period and everyone sort of goes away. But I don't know. Is it because I forgot to write back to Brady? Well, no, I didn't forget to write back to him. You know how you lose messages in your inbox in Instagram I don't know, if there was like a lot of activity on one day, some messages don't really show up. And I actually heard you boys chatting and saying that someone had snubbed Brady, and it got me thinking. I was like, hope that wasn't me by any chance. And I actually searched his name in my messages. I was like,
it was you.
I found it there and I wrote back to him straight away. So you had his chance then to...
He's a grudge holder. He is a grudge holder. Croaks and I have been asking for weeks to get you on, and it just falls on deaf ears. So you can blame him for that. And so, but you are here courtesy actually of Run Port Douglas, and you just got back from Port Douglas. So you're looking quite like tan.
Yeah, there was a lot of sun up there actually. It's a beautiful spot. Have you been to Port Douglas before?
When I was a child, I went a couple of times.
Yeah. So we flew into Cairns and drove up there. It was probably my 4th time there, actually. I was there when I was pregnant with Ellie a couple of years ago, and Billy loved it, and so we decided to go back there. And, yeah, it just doesn't fail to impress. Like, obviously, 4 Mile Beach and Port Douglas itself is fantastic, but I just love rainforests and like heading north to Mossman and the Daintree as well. So got to spend a lot of time in nature.
Yeah, I do have a memory of going into like the Mossman Gorge. Is it like really cold water? Is that right?
It is cold. Yeah. So the Mossman Gorge, you go on this really nice walk, and at the end there's a water hole that everyone jumps in. But yeah, you've got to be brave. It's not warm water, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's, and then you go out to the reef. Like I remember catching like these big like boats out to the reef and snorkeling.
Yeah, the kids are a bit young for that, so we didn't actually do the reef this time around. But yeah, the pools generally aren't heated, but it was warm enough when we were there that the kids were swimming in the pool, so that was good.
Good. Well, lucky you. Since you've been on, you have broken the Australian record, so congrats. Officially from the Inside Running podcast, congrats.
Yeah, it's been just over 6 months now, which is crazy.
That is crazy. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, it does. No, it's nice to have been able to hold on to it for 6 months because records are broken pretty quickly these days. I don't know how long this one will last, but it was a very cool experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, talk us through it. Just for reference, you ran 2:21:24 at Valencia. You beat Sinead's record by 10 seconds. Um, I'd love to hear a little recap of the day and the race, or your recollections of it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think when I spoke to the three of you, I was sort of saying I've been really dialing into that 3:21, 3:22 pace in training. And for me, it kind of feels like that threshold kind of pace when I'm running it in training. It's pretty hard to imagine you'd be able to hold it for 2+ hours, but you have to trust that with the taper, the carb load, the atmosphere, it will come more easily. And so heading over to Madrid, it was pretty tough running there. Just it was freezing, and it's just hard to feel good running when you're that cold. And we'd obviously come from a warmer month or two here in Australia. And then we got into Valencia and it was a lot flatter there, a bit warmer. In fact, it was looking like it might be a bit warmer than ideal on race day. And that was a little bit of a concern because the day before the race, it just felt quite warm and humid. But race day came and it felt cool enough. It's a pretty unique setup. Everyone walks from the hotel down into this sort of underground car park, and there were quite a few Aussies there. We did a few laps together, and then when the gun fired, my plan was, I think from memory, there was a group again, maybe aiming for that sort of 3:20 pace, and then one that might have been like 3:24s. I remember thinking I'm probably going to be somewhere in the middle. And when the gun fired, I saw the 3:20 paces just ahead and sort of sat off the back of them. And it felt really comfortable. I just felt like I was sort of flowing at that pace, checked my watch early. And the first couple of splits were just a bit under 3:20, but felt comfortable. So I was happy after that, not looking at my watch and just going with how I felt.
Just on the pacing, like you mentioned that you were running these workouts beforehand at 3:21, 3:22, and hoping that it might be marathon pace. There's a lot of people now that would be doing those workouts and checking lactates and looking at heart rates and almost like confirming their paces before they start, whereas you're sort of like hoping that it will be. Have you?
Yeah.
How do you work that out?
Yeah, I've done a few treadmill tests with the exercise physiologist in the past looking at lactates, and what we've found is typically that sort of 3:20-ish pace is where I'm efficient, and then it gets quicker and it gets a lot harder for me quite quickly. It's quite an exponential curve. And I don't often come away from those tests feeling that much more confident. Like I think it kind of confirms what I feel, and Adam generally says, yep, that's what I thought. It takes quite a long time to build up lactate, but then when I do it, it shoots up quite quickly. So it's probably something that we'll do after I give birth to this baby at some point, just to see where we're at. But they're pretty difficult tests, and when I've had a flared up hamstring tendon or whatever in the past, sometimes it hasn't been the best for my body, so we don't do them more than we have to.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just going to say, on that pace, I wasn't necessarily confident that I would be able to hold it, but Adam and even like Dylan, they were just so adamant that like right day, right conditions, we think you can do it. And I just had to trust that they knew what they were talking about, because it's hard to believe when you're running it in training that you'll be able to hold it for that long.
Well, considering how experienced you are as a marathoner and the amount that you've done and like the success you've had, it's surprising to me that you would need to be convinced of something. Like I would think that you would be dialed in on like, this isn't a marathon feel for me.
Yeah, I think I've always enjoyed those tactical races where you sort of go into it quite open-minded, thinking we'll see what the pack's doing. I know there'll be some hills. Like going into the Paris Olympics, I was so excited about that one because I knew it wasn't about time. It was just running to your strengths and running that course to the best of your ability. Whereas where there weren't as many variables in Valencia, I found myself really nervous.
Mm.
Probably because I'd experienced Tokyo Marathon earlier last year. Again, quite a flat course without much variation. I found myself, and I hate saying it, but a bit like bored at points where I didn't know how to keep myself engaged and focused. And I came away from that Tokyo Marathon a bit disappointed because I feel like I did drop the ball mentally and just lost concentration in the later stages. And I really didn't want that to happen again in Valencia. But honestly, the atmosphere out there was next level. Like the music, the drummers, the people blowing whistles, and obviously just that constant stream of runners around you. It's pretty easy to stay engaged throughout.
Yeah.
So when I got to halfway, feeling like I was feeling how I should be feeling at halfway, and I saw the split, I was pretty much, half of Sinead's time, I think. Like I had to pretty much even split it to get the record. And I thought at that point, that's a big ask. But I didn't feel kind of too attached to a time. I was pretty excited just even to be on PB pace and feeling good. So I didn't look too much at my watch after that point. I was passed by two women at around 35K. So that Finnish girl and a Belgian girl who both went on to run like 2:20. But I remember thinking, oh, gee, like, am I slowing down? What's going on here? They were so strong. I tried to hold on for as long as I could. And then obviously in those later stages, you do roll downhill. And unlike Sydney, I actually had the strength in the legs to capitalize on that. So I really enjoyed those later stages. And when I heard, Bryce Anderson yell out, you're a few seconds off record pace or whatever, I really felt like I could just rinse myself to get to the line on strong legs. So it was such a nice feeling after Sydney where I was just holding on for dear life, like my legs just wouldn't respond to anything.
Well, everyone was following the splits and looking at the sort of time differential between your splits and how far off the record were you and what you needed to do. And knowing that you're not like this ticker of an athlete, I reckon I can't remember exactly, but I remember it was like 2.2 or K to go, perhaps it was, or maybe it was 7K to go. And I said, oh, Jess isn't like, I'm not sure she's got the pace to pick it up. Like, I don't think that's the kind of athlete she is. And I'm not sure she can get time back in that particular area of the race, but you did it.
Well, and you get onto this, I don't know how long it goes for, maybe 400 or 500 meters, a blue mat that's so bouncy. It's almost like you're on a track and suddenly, you get this extra sort of, I guess, kick from that as well. So obviously, you have to have the legs at that point in the race to be able to do it. Unfortunately, I think I'd got my nutrition and everything right to that point and was able to come home strong. But certainly I was waiting to see a clock because I had no idea. And when I crossed the line, I still thought, oh, we've got to wait for the official time here, because I've had plenty of marathons where you think you've run a time and then you end up being 2 seconds slower. Daegu was one of those examples, actually. I thought I'd just snuck under, and then I got the 2:24:01. I was like,
Yeah. Right. Oh, so it wasn't immediate like euphoria, like I broke the record. Like you were still concerned you hadn't?
I mean, it said 10 seconds on the clock. So I thought, okay, I should, like, that should be a big enough buffer, but you just want to hear it for sure before you celebrate. And look, there's no one you really know at the finish line there. Anyway, it's just carnage, everyone falling across the line. You sort of walk around waiting to see someone you know. It's a funny feeling.
Normally it's Brady just hanging about trying to meet famous people, like with Sinead.
Yeah,
Um,
he should have been there last year, actually. Was Brady ever planning to run it? Oh, no,
no
Croaks
idea.
was perhaps. Yeah, I feel like
I
one
don't
of
know.
you were.
Yeah. So what does like celebration look like? Who are you with over there?
Yeah, it was a big group. I mean, from like Kieran Perkins and a few from Queensland to like Brett and obviously like from my team there was Have and a guy Noah. You'd know Noah, perhaps he works at the running company Brisbane. Um, and then yeah, Jen and Izzy, we all went out for drinks at a little Spanish tapas bar. Um, they actually ended up moving all of the Aussies on. They said we were all a bit too noisy. It was a residential sort of area, so we
Yeah,
had to
right.
find somewhere else for burgers later in the night. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good. Awesome. So you mentioned during your recap, you've got another kid on the way.
Mm,
Congratulations.
thanks. On the
Got
other
no
two.
idea why you would want to have three by choice, but good on you for trying.
I'm from a family of three. It's always sort of been in the back of my mind. And I think ticking off such a big goal in Valencia, no Commonwealth Games marathon this year, it was like, well,
Mm.
here's an opportunity if it works out. And yeah, here we are.
Let's get more kids on the board. Well, yeah, that's it's kind of cool, kind of exciting. It's going to change things, the dynamic. I'm guessing like
Yeah, for sure.
three can be a handful. Two, this sounds like you've managed two really well. I mean, you broke the Australian record with two kids. Maybe this is like some kind of superpower.
Well, the thing is, I came away from Valencia and I did not feel like running for quite a long time anyway. I think it had been a big year with, I don't know, if you go back to 2024, that was a pretty full on year, just the build up to Paris. And then afterwards, I had a bone stress injury. And so then had quite a quick build up to Tokyo Marathon early 2025. Sydney was a really big event. I love that whole experience, but the race itself, I found brutal, and my body took quite a long time to recover from that. Like even 2 weeks after Sydney, I couldn't jog yet. I had this sharp pain in my quads. So then obviously had to build up for Valencia, and I think just probably it all just took a mental toll. So I didn't feel like getting back into training anytime soon. And so in a way, sometimes that pregnancy period where you can just take the foot off the pedal for a while, you build up that hunger again. I'd say it took probably 4 months for me to get really excited about racing again. And now I'm itching, like I really want to get back out there. But it took a long time after Valencia to feel that feeling again. So obviously it's a huge toll on your body, pregnancy and giving birth, and you feel like you're starting from scratch again when you build up, and logistically it's going to be very hectic. But I still think in some way this period of taking it a bit easy has been beneficial.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you've set yourself up nicely with being the Australian record holder. Does that open doors for you? Like, is that financial? Is there like, what does it look like financially to be an Australian record holder?
From a race entry perspective, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think internationally it will necessarily help a whole lot because I'm pregnant again and I'll have to prove myself again after this to get into the big international races. But perhaps domestically, I'm not sure. Like, Sydney's definitely a race I'd love to do again one year. And if I happen to still have the record, then I think that would
Yeah.
potentially help. From like brand partners, it's created some opportunities, I think, but yeah, like nothing changes dramatically. I still sort of feel like just heading out to training and ticking off the process and trying to chase goals. But I think when you do achieve a big goal like that, you've got to find out what's driving you next. And for me, it's probably just trying to target another championship race. I still feel like I've got a bit more to give in that department, but the next championship's not for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 2028 LA, and you'd assume that the 2020 the period for the marathon it would normally opens around Valencia time, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
December, like 18 months before the actual event. So you're going to are you going to be able to have a few swings at that time through the year? Is that the plan, or will you go all in on one big one?
Depends how I'm recovering and feeling, really. In a way, I sometimes feel like waiting for over a year, it actually gets harder. Like when you've got a younger baby and Dylan will have some paternity leave and whatever, that's a time when I just personally have felt like I have a bit more flexibility with my training, and babies generally sleeping at points during the day. You can jump on the treadmill for a run as they get to that sort of 1 year old and beyond, and you're thinking about weaning. There's just a lot more variables there. They might start childcare, bring home illnesses. So I actually think there's perhaps a bit of a sweeter spot just before they're one. And then, we'll have to work it out and see how I'm feeling. But I don't necessarily feel like waiting until 18 months is always a good plan. So, perhaps if there was an opportunity sometime in like late April or May, it could work out. But otherwise, mid-year, there's obviously races like Valencia in December, and then April of the following year, or March, April. So, giving myself a few more opportunities, hopefully, than the last cycle when Ellie was born the year before the Olympic year.
The second edition of Run Port Douglas is coming up on Saturday, the 5th of September 2026. With running events around the world selling out faster than ever, now is your time to secure your race entry. Whether you're chasing a personal best or simply looking for an unforgettable experience in paradise, there's a distance for everyone. Choose from the half marathon, Pacific Toyota 10K, 5K run or walk, or the 2K event presented by Sheraton Grand Mirage Resort Port Douglas. All races finish on the hard-packed flat sands of the 4 Mile Beach, giving participants the unique opportunity to cross the finish line and head straight into the ocean for a refreshing swim. Don't miss one of Australia's most spectacular running events. Enter now at runportdouglas.com.au and beat the next price increase. Standard entry pricing ends at midnight on the 31st of July 2026.
You're a physio. You're also been through this pregnancy, motherhood journey a couple of times now, back into the fastest marathoner we've ever had. When you look at a pregnancy, do you try to map this out with the best possible protocol for your running? Is there a way you can do that? Like, as an example, do you say, I want a C-section and I'm going to be weaning off, we're not going to breastfeed because it's harder on my bones, or whatever it is? Like, is there a best case setup for a professional athlete mother?
I don't know. And I only know what I know. And with Billy, who was born first, he was in breech. In fact, it was 27, 28 weeks. So I'm 28 weeks now. He turned into breech and he never turned around. And so the C-section delivery with him was sort of, my obstetrician wasn't comfortable delivering breech babies, and I could have found someone else who was, but I was just comfortable with my obstetrician and went with that plan. And then, Billy breastfed until about 13, 14 months. And so then I just went with that same process for Ellie. And then this time around, this baby's moved into breech now as well. But once you've had 2 C-sections, they generally, discourage going back just because of the risks. So this will end up being a C-section delivery as well. And I think the way I approached things with Billy and Ellie was to really not push myself, if anything, mentally during this time, actually allow myself to to just train as I felt in pregnancy with obviously there's nothing specifically that you're training for. It is just for your health and well-being, because you do just start from such a blank canvas on the other side, and you can really enjoy that progress. I don't think staying really fit in pregnancy would necessarily benefit me on the side. If anything, I might be feeling a bit drained and mentally exhausted going into that next build, which is you need to be really motivated for that. So I've allowed myself to just get a bit unfit and really build up that mental hunger again, because I know I'll need it to do the training I'll need to do on the other side. But certainly the breastfeeding, perhaps, I don't know, it might leach nutrients from your bones and whatever, but the baby's health is definitely my priority. And I think, the benefits of breastfeeding definitely outweigh any risk of injury. So,
Okay. Yep. It must be a weird feeling, like coming from like being really fit and then continuing to train, but only getting slower with the motivation like of no racing ahead of you. It
yeah,
just it's almost the opposite of what a normal training block looks like, where you're starting
yeah.
low and you're increasing and you're working towards fitness in a race. Whereas the training into a pregnancy is the exact opposite.
You learn a lot about yourself because you find out what you're driven by. And I do need races or that sense of progress to stay motivated. When I'm just sort of running for the sake of it, it is pretty hard to just find that time in your day to do it. But I do feel better when I have exercised. But some days you'll go out planning to run. I think it was on Sunday. I was like, I'm going to try and go out and at least meet my squad for a few minutes today, because I miss the social outlet as well.
Mm.
And I got 20 meters down the road and I felt this stitch, and I was like, well, there we go. Like, walked back with my tail between my legs, and I was like, I'm home. So you can have grand plans to train sometimes and it's just not happening. Like the baby's moved or grown or
Mm.
so lucky we've got an elliptical at home as well. That tends to be just a fallback option for me, which isn't so bad in the winter anyway. But doing something just so that you still feel strong and somewhat fit is pretty empowering. Like I've been doing a bit of gym work, and I love feeling strong and capable. Like Ellie wants to be carried, and I can still, pick her up to cross the road or whatever if I have to. And so training's sort of got a different focus at the moment, but I think it'll benefit me long term by not having tried to hit a certain number of Ks per week in pregnancy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what are the main concerns with like if someone running through a pregnancy? What are the risks?
Look, I think a lot of the concerns have been like there's been a lot of myth busting in recent years around what women can't and can't do during pregnancy. Dr. Margie Davenport, she's an exercise physiologist and researcher based in Canada, and her page has been amazing to follow from like an S&C and sort of aerobic training perspective. I think as a physio, probably just in the later stages of pregnancy when you've got so much weight in your pelvis, my concern would be, putting a lot of stress on your pelvic organ, like the organ ligaments and pelvic floor. And so that's where I'm quite happy to back off running in those later stages, just to try and protect the integrity of those structures for later on.
Yeah. Okay. And coming back from the pregnancy, so is there a set amount of time that you're supposed to stay off? Like, what are the variables with the return to run?
Yeah, it depends a lot on your delivery, and I think that's where it's so helpful to work with a women's health physio. With a C-section, there's the obvious, like obviously a lot of incisions through your various muscle layers, soft tissue, uterus, and the risk of rupturing or compromising healing is the big one there. And so you have to get the all clear from your medical professionals, but also just go by feel. And if you're feeling pain in those areas, or you're getting excessive swelling or bleeding, I think they're red flags. So I still think there are quite a few unknowns, and every person is very individual. And I think that's why it's confusing for women, because there isn't just a set recipe like this is how you recover from this delivery. You've got to take into account their history and strength and just even their physiology and the way they heal.
Well, you're going to, when's your due date? In September.
So it'll be, early September. So probably like around late August, Sydney Marathon-ish type weekend, I think.
Yeah. So do you have because Port Douglas is Run Port Douglas is around that time, isn't it? Are you going up in the ambassador role? That'd be a bit risky, wouldn't it?
Nah, definitely not. So part of when we were up there for our family holiday last week, I said to Bade, like, if there's anything you'd like to do from a media perspective, like we're going to be up there, we can tick that off now because I won't be able to make it in early September. So it was good. He took me around the course. So I got to see the half marathon course and meet some of the people involved. And he's just thought of everything. Like obviously last year was the inaugural event, and any little issues they had, kinks in the chain with bag drop or whatever, they've really, I feel a bit like Ballarat Marathon, like they just go above and beyond to get feedback and try to make the next year even better. So it's exciting.
Yeah, good.
Great event.
Good. In the course, I know Andy mentioned something about it being the best course in the world or something along those lines.
Yeah, look, I haven't obviously seen every half marathon in the world, but this is one of the prettiest I've seen. Like you start with this palm tree lined highway, and then you go into the main street and head around a little bit of a section, and then you end up going up a hill, which it's a proper hill. It'll be a hard climb for people, but they've got a king and the queen of the mountain segment there. So I think you win something if you're the fastest up that hill, get to a lookout, roll back down it, and then it's all flat from, I guess, 8Ks onwards, and finishing along a beach that some people might not like the sound of beach running, but this is different beach running. It's really compressed sand. There isn't really a camber. It's almost like running on a nice asphalt surface or something with the views of the ocean and the palm trees. So yeah, it's stunning, that's for sure. And obviously just a great holiday destination too.
Yeah. What do you reckon? You're going to be the last Commonwealth Games marathon winner.
Yeah, do you think there'll be another one? It's hard to know.
I can't see it happening unless what they need. I reckon they should tie it in with a mass participation event. Like that's the way to do it in terms of to make it viable, I reckon. But how does that sit with you, not seeing the marathon in the Com Games?
Yeah, it makes me sad. I look at teammates like, say, Caitlin Adams, who had her big breakthrough in the marathon last year in Melbourne, and I'd love to see athletes like Caitlin have that opportunity to target the Commonwealth Games, because obviously, yes, there are a lot less people competing in the Com Games than the Olympics, but the feel of a Com Games is really special with all of the different sports and the uniform, the ceremonies. It's just a really special experience, and I think it does prepare you a bit mentally for the other major championships, in that there's a fair bit of media and just things that can be quite foreign to athletes. And if you get to experience it there, then you're a bit more prepared if you then, say, head to the next Olympics. So it will be really sad if marathoners don't have that opportunity going forward, but at the same time feel so grateful that we've got these major marathons and other incredible events that we can aim for. Like, I think Sydney Marathon's just been such a great addition to our calendar.
Yeah. And when you finish, this was something that I was going to ask you, but I forgot. When you finished Valencia, was the feeling that you had exhausted your potential and that you had run something you like outside, like you'd maxed out? Or do you reckon there's time left somewhere that you can take more seconds off that record?
I feel like I maxed out on that day with the prep I'd had, but I feel like there's a bit more room to improve my preparation. Like whilst my Valencia prep went well, you learn so much each year and from every experience. And I was just carrying a couple of niggles last year, and I'd love to have a little bit of a smoother run in my prep. And again, just have one of those days where it's a flat course and potentially a little bit cooler and see what may be possible. Because I think with the marathon, there's the physical side, but also the mental side. And when you can line up on those days where, for whatever reason, you're just able to focus that day. And that's probably what I've learned most from each marathon, is how to get my brain in the right headspace and what strategies to use on the day to get the most out of myself. And that's where I think you can always like squeeze a bit more out, just nailing that. And I feel like I really got that right in Valencia, but I still arrived at that race physically probably not quite at the potential I think is there. Hopefully one day, but we'll see. You just never know, and that's what's exciting about the marathon.
That'll keep you waking up and training, though.
That's
to know
right.
that there's more left out there.
I think if you finished a race feeling like everything just went exactly to plan, it would be a bit harder to fire yourself up in training. So yeah, it's good to have that carrot.
All right. I want 6 names only.
Oh, no.
The Australian Olympic team, marathon team at LA. I don't want maybes. Don't want ifs and buts. I want 6 names. 3 women, 3 men. Who's on
it? So if we go with men, Andy have to Pat.
That's a good 3. Solid 3.
Yeah. And then women, Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gee, this is hard. Izzy. You know who I'd love to see? Ellie Pashley.
Stenson.
Well, yeah, obviously I'll be trying my hardest. But yeah, Jen. But I honestly,
I said 3 women, so you said Jen.
I know. Yeah. We'll go Jen.
Put yourself,
but I'd love to see Pashley in there too, because yeah.
Well, she's got to stop doing all that dumb shit she does on Sundays.
Do dumb.
Go have a look at her Strava. Anyway, well, that's a good team.
Yeah,
don't know about Pat Kiernan. Don't know about Pat Kiernan.
I was going to say Isaac, but he obviously hasn't run one yet. So, but I think if he does get a prep right, he could be really impressive over the marathon. But yeah, had a few road bumps just lately, unfortunately. But we'll see a lot of Isaac down the track, I think.
Still doing Gold Coast?
I have to check whether I'm allowed to say things, but no.
Okay.
He's had an injury, unfortunately. So
that was one of the real exciting debuts.
I know. Yeah. He'll get his time, but yeah.
It's marathon training, isn't it? It happens like that.
Yeah, well, and I think back to early in my career, and you're just learning where that line is. And I had quite a few bone stress injuries, just trying to figure out what I could get away with. And certainly parenthood makes you more you've obviously just got to make sure everything you do is good quality. You don't do more than you have to, and I think that can be beneficial. Back before being a parent, I think I did just sometimes do more for the sake of it because I could, and it doesn't always end well.
Yeah. All right. Well, all the best with the rest of your pregnancy. 28 weeks. Hopefully it stays in there for another 9 or so.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully.
That would be
the kids
good
are asking lots of questions. They're keen to meet this one. Ellie was asking some funny ones last night. Yeah, classic.
You have
But
to
no,
buy
I
a new
think
house? Bought a new house yet?
yeah, well, that was late last year before we sort of knew we were having a third necessarily, but
Mm.
that's definitely been, nice having that extra space. But yeah,
New
Billy will
car?
be 6.5. We actually do. That was a partnership that came about lately,
Of
which was
course.
very, very
Of
handy.
course.
Thank you, Peter Kittle Toyota.
You got a big
um,
van? You got all the space now.
yeah, we've got a few more bits and pieces to get, but yeah, it'll be interesting the age gaps because Billy and Ellie had nearly 4 years between them. So Billy could be quite helpful, but Ellie's right in that 2.5-year-old
Oh, yeah.
spot where like just trying to be really independent, throw some really good tantrums. So we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, I
Yeah.
might be hitting up Bree for some tips.
Oh, she doesn't know. She's got. I can guarantee you, we don't know anything. But
Uh,
yeah, that's fun. That will be fun. You make it sound like it's going to be. It's going to be fun and games for you guys.
yeah. Yeah. Nah, bring on the challenge. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it. So,
Well, thanks for joining
yeah.
us again. Thanks to Run Port Douglas. If anyone wants a holiday and a race, sounds like a pretty good trip up there.
Yeah, they've really thought about it all. Like it's on a Saturday, the race, so that people can have their like chill day on the Sunday.
Mm.
And there's a kids' race like later on in the morning, so the parents can run and then watch their kids do the 2K. So good, yeah, family destination.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Win the ultimate Run Port Douglas getaway for two. One lucky winner will receive return economy flights for two from anywhere in Australia, a 2-night stay at the Sheraton Grand Mirage Resort Port Douglas, and 2 complimentary race entries into the Run Port Douglas events of their choice. Entering is easy. Simply sign up to their newsletter, then share the competition on your social media to earn additional entries and increase your chance of winning. Don't miss your chance to race in paradise and experience everything Port Douglas has to offer. This competition closes at 11:30pm on Sunday, the 12th of July, 2026. Enter now at runportdouglas.com.au.